Hello, world, and welcome to the first pre-Worlds episode of Power Spike for 2024. We made it, y'all. The season is done, but the drama is not, as it's already heating up. So myself alongside Dom and Yamato here to break it all down for you, from roster changes to magic visa rules all the way down to some flaming. How's the last couple weeks been for you here, Dom and Yamato? Last we talked, Yamato became a Texan for a little bit.
Woo! Bro, all I'm missing is a hat, dude. Like, Dom showed me the best time. I was saying before, I think Dom intentionally fucked me up. He was so nice to me and gave me all the the experiences, the food, everything that we saw. Like, every experience was so nice. I was enjoying the sun. I was enjoying the air conditioning. And it's like, as I'm boarding my flight, I'm like, fuck me. Let's go back to like fucking bad air, have to open the windows, insects come in, all this fucked up shit, the German food. I'm like, oh shit, man. So the only thing that's keeping me sane here is the fact that I have my fiance here, man. If I could take my fiance and move to Texas, bro, I'm borderline. I'm this close.
What was your favorite meal? What was your favorite meal?
Bro, I think honestly, the one that I really picked out, really ate like a piece of shit, it has to be like Terry Black's. Oh my days. Like I didn't like, they show the quantities in pounds, you know, so I have no idea what I'm ordering. So I ordered like 1 pound of brisket. I have no clue what that is. I ordered some sausages. I got the beans. I got the mac and cheese. And my stomach is just endless. It's just endless. I have like, my stomach is like, bro, go ahead, man. We'll suffer later. It's no problem. No problem at all. I destroyed that shit. And then I saw that Dom didn't finish his sausage. I ate his sausage too. Don't take that out of context.
Well, too late. It's the internet.
And then I even saved something for the late game. You know, I got this cornbread. It was wrapped in plastic. I put it in my pocket. Ate it during the escape room that we did. Like, I had the full American experience.
Yeah, he had pocket cornbread, and we went to an escape room, and the escape room people felt so bad for him that they went to a restaurant and bought cornbread and brought a new bag of cornbread to Yamato as soon as we finished the escape room.
Did they really? They're watching him and they're like, oh, this poor guy, he can't think at all.
He is fucking pocket cornbread.
This dumbass is eating food out of his pocket. Let's just save his life. Who knows what's been in his pocket?
Well, I'm glad that you got to experience Texas and all of its food wonders. Did you? Yeah, we'll get into that a little later, I'm sure. But hope you enjoyed it. There's been a lot of Well, how did you like having Yamato over, Dom?
No, it was good. It was cool to, you know, the thing about Yamato is he like made me enjoy my own like house more, you know, like seeing like Yamato like the way that he used all the balconies and stuff, and the way he would just like sit in like the sun. He's like, well, bro, like just look at the views and stuff. I was like, damn, bro, I should appreciate my own house more. You know, I need to get some sunlight every now and then, just sit on my balcony for like 5 minutes at the start of every day if I can. It made my experience better.
Bro, I don't know how many times where I just stood and did this and just, you know, this is
that's what I imagined. That's exactly what I imagined.
and then also, like, I think the first 3 days, I think I sound like a one-string banjo, you know. I just did the same sounds. Like, every time I was like, Dom, why are you streaming this shit LPL games when this is like enticing you? Because Dom has like this warrior schedule, you know, crazy ass schedule, worse than David Goggins. Wake up at 1 a.m. Fucking the Undertaker, you know, it's dark outside, and he sees like, you know, his ladies in the pool, you know, he's looking at like fucking, he said like he was looking like Squidward in that meme, you know, with SpongeBob and Patrick are chilling outside. My man is grinding, but I told Dom the same, bro. I get filled with a sense of like, I'm so proud of him, you know, in a weird way. I'm like, yo, this is my homie. Like, he's done it, you know. It's nice. It's nice.
Well, yeah, so I'm gonna quit streaming, and it's all thanks to Yamato. Yamato gave me the confidence. He's like, bro, why are you streaming? And I like thought about it for a second. I'm like, why am I streaming? Like, what the fuck? Like, why am I watching LGD versus EDG when they're both already eliminated from fucking playoffs? Why am I watching them on a fucking Monday at 3 a.m.? Like, why? What the fuck is the point of that? I don't get I don't even get viewers for it. Like, I don't get money. Like, there's literally 0 point. It ruins my entire sleep. Like, what the fuck? What am I doing with myself?
Well, there you go, chat. You know who to get mad at. You can send the trucks over to Yamato later. Last one is that I'm always interested about Yamato. How is the climate? How is like the sun and the air and the weather? Just because that part is always super. I'm always interested in what people think.
I loved it, bro. But it was like for me, I have like this passive, bro. I can acclimate to anything, bro. Like I've got the Arabic bloods. I was born and raised in Sweden. I live in Germany. Like I can acclimate to anything. So it's like it was very warm in Texas, but I like it. I like it when it's like very, very hot. And it's like if I do this for 2 seconds, you just start sweating. So you just want to like keep cool by not moving. I love that type of climate. But then it's crazy because like having an air-conditioned house. Bro, like I'm used to an air-conditioned office, you know, like you enter a lawyer's office or a bank, you know, they have suits on, you know, they're all cool and shit, but like air-conditioned house, that is like an extravagance that I got used to. And now it's like the temperatures don't change when I enter the home. It feels strange, definitely. But I love the temperature, bro. I loved it.
Brother, you would not be able to survive Texas in the summer or Vegas in the summer without air conditioning in the house, man. Like that's
I believe it, yeah.
Yeah, it gets too fucked up.
All right. Well, the travels of Yamato and Dom now have been chronicled. And if you want more, you can check out their streams. We've had a lot to cover in this episode of Power Spike. So let's get to it. First off, we're talking about some champions. Champions? No, not Hanwha Life Esports. No, we're not talking about Billy. We're not talking about G2. We're talking about some FlyQuest, but more specifically, one top laner who has just been going off the rails a lot lately, and it's got a lot of reaction from people. And so if you've missed out on it and haven't, I don't know, had YouTube on, Bwipo has kind of gone hard in the paint on a lot of different things. He went hard on the paint on European players. He went hard on the paint in VTO specifically. He's given a lot of like pop off against his opponents in solo queue. He said a lot of different types of things there, which is generally in his career a little bit out of character. Actually, a lot of out of character. He's been a huge advocate for not blaming others and being a stand-up guy and advocate for mental health, but he was going off the rails here pretty hard. Nothing he said, no, that's not true. Most of what he said was factual or can be defended in his opinion, or it was opinion-based. Nothing was like way, but it was just strong. He was saying things very, very strong, and it was kind of tough to watch someone who's generally been spread positivity throw out some negativity here with facts, but negativity in general. So we wanted to get your guys' take here. What did you make of Bwipo kind of popping off a lot here, Dom? I know that you covered it and you had a pretty long video taking a look at a lot of the different clips and some of the reactions that people had.
Yeah, it was really weird for me because I've had obviously a couple weird experiences with players. I've had like the Quas situation where he was just a completely different person. Like one day he woke up and he was just a completely different person. You know, I mean, it wasn't obviously that simple. There was other things involved, but his personality completely changed, which is really strange for me. I don't think that Bwipo's entire personality changed. Like he didn't have different mannerisms, but he did seem to be acting way different than he normally acts. And that's always so strange because I always want to know like what is causing this? Is it like a mental health thing? Is it like, did he just wake up and he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go hard? Is it something where he like wanted to do it for viewership, for content? Like, is it something like it just trying to place the reasoning for it? I think is the weirdest part for me because it definitely doesn't seem like normal Bwipo. And it's like, is he trying to figure out why he's acting so differently? I think is the most confusing part.
Yamato?
And I think if I try to rationalize it, because I work with him too, I think that especially since when I work with him, He went from being like very, very competitive, right, with the previous year in Fnatic 2020, 2019, and 2018 was when they won the splits. Him switching to jungle, I think that for him, for the longest time, I think that he really, really wanted to prove himself as a top laner. And then he had like the Super Team 2022. And then like things went back and forth, right? They didn't have a team. And then FlyQuest, this was the like redemption arcs. I think there was a lot of things that he kept inside of him for a very, very long time. And then when finally like he made that personal breakthrough that was so important to him, I think that he kind of, the way I interpret it is that he overwhelmed himself with some of the responsibilities he sees that he should be taking upon himself. I think that he's always been a player that cares about like the effort of players and the effort of a region. And I think it was kind of a swarm of everything at the same time, coming over to Europe, winning the championship, because in the end, it's like, I think the messaging, like I can translate the things that are being said, you know, I can see it through the lens. I know that he's very protective of Hilly. I am too, right? And I think there were some things that didn't need to be said and could have been said a lot better, right? Because in the end, as someone with a platform, you do have a responsibility to say it the right way. But I do think that some things, you know, are said with like kid gloves, and there are definitely players that should be called out for things more so than they are. And I think there is a balance in, you know, the communication surrounding players, because there's definitely like the idea that there's going to be players that try to win and try to push to win that are going to look a lot worse to the average eye that watches League of Legends than someone that just kind of coasts and fights to just keep a job rather than pursuing victories. And there's definitely players like that in every region. I think there is like a certain percentage of players that don't really like push themselves, and I think there is a point in that definitely. But I underlined again, I think that this was just like an accumulation of super much that I think that Bwipo wanted to get out of a system in a way, and I think it just seemed like it was like an overwhelming thing. Like he wanted to say a lot of things at the same time. That's kind of how I judged it, but. It seems like, you know, I reached out to him. I was like, Whip, this is, you need to tone down your language a little bit, brother. There was also like he mentioned also that like LS spoke to him, right? And it seems like he has caught up to himself in a way in the storm that he was kind of unraveling within himself and doing that publicly, right? So I think we're going to have a more peaceful time moving forward.
I do like the way that you describe it as overwhelming yourself after needing to prove yourself, and because it wasn't all just, hey, you're shit because you're shit. It was this larger responsibility. I mean, he got very emotional and teary-eyed talking about how important Hilly was to him and how great of a person he was and how important he is in his life and during that time on Fnatic. And so it wasn't just, hey, I won and now I'm better than you and you're all shit and he forgot where he came from. I think it's a mixture of, man, maybe there was a little bit of, I wish I could have done this with all of Europe. I wish I could have done this with with Hilly and all my teammates, with all these great teams. And, you know, while playing solo queue, all of us know what happens when you play solo queue just so much. Like, there are so few monks that can just truly monk it and not change. A lot of people have to, you know, like go a little numb and just grind out the games, or they do grind themselves into a bad mood and whatever. And, you know, Bwipo is a grinder of said games. That he's played so many, and maybe it was just all of that with the mixture of the success. But it really feels like there's a lot larger, you know, mental health type things going on here, and I hope that he found the type of help and success that he needed, as he already alluded to on his stream earlier. And I hope that he takes a step to go and reach out to those people, because he took a lot of shots. But, you know, I think accountability and forgiveness goes a long way as well. So hopefully that gets done there. Any?
Oh, no, it doesn't matter, bro. Like if you're accountable and you say you messed up, it actually does nothing. Like that's the one thing I've learned about the internet is like people almost want that. It's almost like worse to be like accountable. Like you end up being accountable. You're like, hey, fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. Like whatever. admitting that you're wrong makes it so more people feel like, oh, you were wrong, you piece of shit, and then they just dogpile even harder. So if I'm Bwipo, I would not like. I don't think that anything that he said he like actually feels differently about. So if he were to like apologize, I feel like it would kind of be like I kind of apologize for the way I went about it, but the content of like, but I stand behind like what I said in a way. I feel like that's the only way that he would be able to kind of like get out of the situation without getting completely shit on.
Yeah. I think that's still accountable, but not apologizing for all those things. It just felt like, hey, here's all these difficult conversations, and we're gonna do it at not the right time. And so hopefully Bwipo gets that one sorted on out, and we'll get to see him and the rest of FlyQuest on display over at Worlds. And they're gonna have a big target on their back now because there's an extra incentive to take them peg down and for them to do their best. All right. So there's a little bit of drama to kick things off. A brand new piece coming from, brand new voice in Bwipo. Normally don't hear that. But here we have ourselves a brand new partner here at Power Spike. It's a peripheral company that you are familiar with. It's our friends over at Turtle Beach. Now, Turtle Beach also recently bought Rocket, and you can get the Rocket Gaming that was part of the EU LCS.
I was in that team. I was in that team.
Yeah. Now part of Turtle Beach. They are the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. They have all different types of things. I mean, for me, it goes all the way back to like PlayStation 2 console games. They were the headset to use, and they still are and have continued to grow and evolve their platform. I mean, they have so many different products. Turtle Beach has Stealth 600 models for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, cross-compatibility, Bluetooth, all different types of headsets for your system. Whether you're a casual gamer or haven't touched grass in weeks, Turtle Beach is the right headset for you. Now, for a limited time only, our listeners get themselves 10%. That's right, 10% off of their entire order with the code SPIKE. That's 10% off the order with the code SPIKE at turtlebeach.com with the promo code SPIKE. And just a reminder, again, they've always been in the game and have continued to evolve. They don't just have headsets. They have every gaming accessory you can think of. As I look on the website, again, keyboards, mice, headset, stands. If you're a flight simulator guy, they got you covered. If you're a racing sim guy, they got you covered. Turtle Beach is the ultimate cheat code. So get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. For a limited time only, head on over to turtlebeach.com and use the code SPIKE for 10% off your order. That's 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with the promo code SPIKE. Thanks to our brand new friends over at Turtle Beach for supporting Power Spike and everything here at LFN, and you could see it on the guys right now. They've got themselves the Turtle Beach headset. How's it sound, Dom?
Oh, the sound quality is amazing, and the thing that Yamato and I were talking about earlier was the battery life. Like, the battery life is crazy. Normally wireless headsets, they die way quicker. This battery life is, it's saying you could charge it literally twice a week, and you could literally use it the entire week off 2 charges, which is absolutely
80 hours
ridiculous.
Yeah, makes no sense. 80 hours.
Yeah,
and we also mentioned that both of us have big ass heads. At least I have a big ass head. Like, you can see, like, bro, like, it looks like I'm a bobblehead, and the fact that it fits snug, and I can wear them for hours on end because we're all degenerate streamers that just sit here. It's like, after I'm done streaming, I need to lie down without having pain over my ears and in this area. I think this is the pillows are very, very clutch, and the battery time is good because usually it's like these charging cables that you get. It's like you have to do this thing, to play. Like, you have to like do sideways, and I already have neck issues. So it's like just plugging them in, fast charge, boom, move on. It's bless.
Yeah. And all the different types of accessories make it very easy to charge, and cable management, all that stuff is in there as well. So www.turtlebeach.com with the promo code SPIKE. Thanks to our friends over at Turtle Beach. All right, let's get into more North America drama. It's been a little while since we had our last episode, and Dom actually turned into Detective Dom, and I guess Newsbreaker Dom in our most recent Everything is Fire. He was the one that broke the news that Jojo was no longer part of Cloud9. So let's get into it. Everything's on fire for Cloud9 as Jojo is dropped and Berserker leaves. All right. So Cloud9, they don't make worlds. This is a super roster, quote unquote super roster. Every year there's always, you know, one that with the moniker, but this one definitely was the one at the beginning of the year for Cloud9. They made the moves. They dropped Fudge for the summer split, bring in Thanatos, the highly touted Rook from D+ challengers, and you know, one of Chronicler's favorite players here in the LCK. And they still don't make worlds. They have to make the changes. They drop Jojo, and Berserker has made the decision to move on after years with the team. What is your first gut reaction to all of this news here, Yamato? As it's NA's golden child, and you know, the most dominant AD carry over the last 4 years.
I hope, first and foremost, I was hoping that Berserker would leave this year, but I imagine due to the signing of Jojopyun that he was convinced to stay another one, right? Because I thought that after the last year, basically 2023, that this would be like the best opportunity for him to springboard himself off to like a decent and solid LCK team. And I think that maybe there's an opportunity. It's like the rumor and where the community lies, not the rumor, but community believes that he could be like the replacement for Deft on KT. I think that would be like a solid move for Berserker, but I'm not going to sit here and act that I know all the ins and outs, of course, of the academy scene. I just know that KT's challenger team is absolutely insane. So who knows what kind of opportunities there are there. You wouldn't want Berserker to be in a position where he is like slumming it on like a bottom 3 LCK team where he gets swapped around because the team loses, or for him to have like the Prince arc where he goes over to China and is just completely uncomfortable and just completely lost himself and turns into like a Jin player. So I'm hoping that things work out for Berserker. On the topic of Jojopyun, like I thought that Thorin's video on it, like the 2-hour breakdown of it was so damn based. I think, you know, for me, the only thing that I could add to a player like Jojopyun, because clearly he's very, very talented, I think that this year on an individual level, regardless of the synergies, regardless of whatever, this year was extremely like disappointing for the expectations that I had for Jojo. And I think it's true for everybody else. Maybe this is just another one of those players that needs to suffer and needs to understand what he actually has at hand, because I'm sure that he's going to be playing no matter what. I think any organization out there is going to, you know, see Jojopyun as an opportunity. It's like, oh, the issues are very clear. This is something that we can tackle, and he can become better out of that because the talent is there. Maybe this is just another case of one of those players that needs to suffer because he came in, won a split, right, and then like EG kind of griefed him, right, with the whole inspired benching and so forth, and then he was signed on a very, very allegedly very, very expensive contract, right? And I've seen that story many times, and I think what it comes down to is sometimes you just need to understand truly what you had by losing it, and then maybe work your way up in the new system.
Yeah, I mean, I can add one more thing here, which is that when I, did my digging and I talked to people that were involved either in the organization or on every single team that Jojo had been on, that this like tardiness issue is something that has maintained for the entirety of his career. So he's always had this issue. And I think the difference is that when you're on a team like Cloud9, it's like no one's above the team is how they work at Cloud9. No one's above the team. If somebody is not behaving in the way that everyone else is, doesn't matter who you are, like you end up getting cut. Where on other teams, from what I gathered, no one really cared if he was late on EG. Like people care, obviously, but because he's such an insane player, it's like, it's fine. I mean, one of the things that I actually heard from one of his, like somebody who was in one of his former teams, was that it almost made things easier that Jojo was missing the team meetings, because then you could just tell him what he's playing, then it's just one less voice in the meeting, and you could have the coach and like the star players, like, or like the people that are more involved in those situations, the people that are directly influencing draft will just come up to their own conclusions, and you can just pass the plan off onto Jojo later. So I think that this is something that was probably shocking. I would assume that Jojo thought that this would never happen. Like, he thought, oh yeah, I mean, I'm late, but like I'm still really fucking good, and that's what matters the most. But we've seen, Cloud9 do this twice now with two high profile people that were in their organizations, where they just believed that the person wasn't meeting their own criteria, and they were willing to do something that potentially could backfire and could make your organization look bad.
Yeah. It's hard to change like punctuality habits, especially when you're type B. Because I have, growing up, I was habitually late, and then I was like, I want to pick a career in like broadcast where you cannot be late. You get replaced. That shit kind of happens, and the process of changing that becomes difficult because when shit starts at 9, my brain thinks, okay, how long does it take me to get there? All right, that's it. That's the only thing I can consider. But as you consider these other things, as maybe there were other things at play, health issues at play or whatever, that to me is something that it's a difficult paradigm shift, as well as just everyone said good things about him over at EG. Like it wasn't work ethic, but do you consider timeliness as work ethic? Some, and Cloud9 clearly they do. It's something that they've done for a while. And whereas EG were like, well, yes, he's late, but look at all the effort and look how much he brings up the team. Even in the player interviews, every time I would ask the players on the good EG roster, on the changed EG roster, every player pointed to Jojopyun as the leader of the team, as the heart of the team, as that guy. And that just didn't, come about here in Cloud9. Do you feel like there's Cloud9 fault to blame here, Dom, or what do you percentage do you put like blame on this? Because there was conversation about, oh, well, it can't just be on the player, it's the system in place as well on the player. I think it was some of the former EG staff that said that.
What I don't understand is, like, if you don't have a good replacement, right? Like, Cloud9 doesn't have a challengers team, right? If you don't have a good replacement ready to go, and you have a player that is habitually late on a super team, and you're trying to actually make worlds, like, what options do you actually have? Like, should they just bench him and just go with anyone else during the season, or should they ride it out and try to see what can happen, in the stage games? And honestly, like, if you look at how they played overall and how the team was positioned, it doesn't feel like this team was, even when they were playing bad, that they were going to end up losing to 100 Thieves. It always felt like 100 Thieves was the worst version of our worst team than Cloud9. So in their mind, it's like, okay, like, maybe we can do something in the offseason, but for right now, everything's working. Like, and that's how all teams work. Like, when I was with TL, we had so many fucking problems. I've talked about the problems it's literally provided me 10 years of content after I was on the team. That's how many fucking problems we had. And it's not like we made changes in the middle of summer when it was clear that, like, shit wasn't working. It's like, can we push through this and actually get to Worlds? And Yamato was on the Fnatic team where they were able to bandage things up and they were able to actually get to Worlds, even though there was a lot of, like, strife within the organization as well. Like, there's so many situations where you can actually push through, and it gives yourself, like, a chance to actually to compete. And then also from a business standpoint, being able to retain sponsors from having an international appearance is really important. So I don't think that many teams are going to sabotage themselves in the middle of the year just to make a point. But in between splits or in between years, I think this is like the time where you're going to see a lot of teams make those moves that seem nonsensical because of what's happening within the teams themselves, things that you don't know about.
Yeah.
And just to follow that up as well, like, I think I really, really want to hammer home the point is like the players have an insane amount of power, because, like, moving players between teams, you make a commitment to 5 players. And the difficulty always from a coach's perspective, like Dom mentioned, like the Fnatic roster, there are certain things that you have to choose if you're going to accept them principally, even if they are at the principal level, like against what you believe is good in the long term. It's like we in the Fnatic team, like we scrimmed very little. We scrimmed very, very little because we recognize that it was extremely damaging, right? But if you are in the early of the season, you have to go through those things and you need to fight through, and you need to at the core level actually like break the whole team down in order to rise again in a better version. You need to take those risks and push players to that point. But we were always like one game away from being out. So maintaining the health of the team, even though letting players get away with certain things that principally I disagree with, I recognize that in that moment, short-term performance was the only thing that mattered, because we didn't have a lot of maneuverability in terms of any other players. It's like we have signed this team the same way C9 has signed this team with very star players. Like I know people are going to make the points that, oh, they don't have a challengers team, that's why. But it's going to be impossible, borderline impossible, to find the player in your academy that is going to be worthy of replacing the one player that you spent so much money on. And positioning yourself for that failure is not something that teams have an endless budget to do. People are going to point to an example of like APA coming in, but that was from a position of like Harry, like getting dry W'd by Talia on cooldown as Azzi, right? Like the movement was pretty straightforward, right? It's
and
like,
they have a challengers team. They have an APA there where Cloud9 doesn't have anyone there. It's like who are they going? Hey, hi, you played mid 7 years ago in the LCS. Put high back on the team. Who the fuck is actually going to play mid lane for this team at this point? Like, you don't have options.
It's insanely difficult to find like the replacement. Just to hammer home the point, it's like the difficulty of making a team work is that you commit to 5, and in a moment where someone gets away with doing something that is bad for the group, how it affects everybody else can be extremely dangerous. Because if one person is late, the other person could be late, and then it's like, what's the point of being on time? And then it bleeds into everything. And then it's like, well, if he can go against what is being said, then why should I listen? And then people begin to do their own thing. And when they do their own thing, you are losing control completely, and it can become very, very dangerous. And in some cases, you just need like 5 like professionals, right? I think the 2020 Fnatic roster is like a good example. Like all the stories we heard about how they wanted to like kill each other pretty much on cooldown, and all the arguments they had in between, right? But in the end, it's like there was just 5 professionals that wanted to win. So when they were on the server and they were playing on stage, it worked because everyone did their own thing in a way, right? This was like the Reckless, Self-Made, Mythy, and so forth. Just 6 damn good professionals at what they do. But in terms of like the health of that team, it sounded like a giga stressful environment, because I inherited some of that when I joined that team in the off season. I was like, holy fuck, what did I just join? You know, it was kind of wild. You know?
Yeah, I like that context there, and just the fascinating part about all of this is the alleged contract size that Jojo would have pulled, the Berserker blow up that happened earlier and was documented. And now you can kind of put 2 and 2 together on why that was frustrating. And that everything that you just brought up, the philosophy of 5 professionals and adjusting the system to that, or no one is above the system and you have to fit into it. It's all very, very interesting. Dom, what did you make of Berserker leaving? You gave some of the notes there on Jojo, but Berserker leaving and moving on, with probably the opportunity to be a kingmaker in LCS, he decides to leave Cloud9. What do you make of that? Where do you think he ends up? And then where do you think he like lands in terms, if he doesn't return to LCS, where do you think he lands in terms of ADC grades?
I mean, it literally looked like he was ready to go home fucking week 3 of spring this year. Like it actually was like, what happened to Berserker? Did the skill vampires get him? Does he not care anymore? Like this is how people felt. He got better towards summer, but it was really shocking to see the level that he started the year on. I don't know if he would be able to get into a top LCK team, especially if you consider that like players like Ruler might, like who knows what ends up happening with Ruler, right? Like he's somebody who could be on the market. There could be people coming back to the LCK.
Prince is a free agent.
Prince is cooked completely. Like he's done, bro. He's going to LLA if anything. Actually, LLA will be in LCS. Maybe he will be in LCS next year. Americas, he'll be on the LLA team. But I think that probably the place that I could see him going is like a mid-tier LPL team, maybe. Like that's probably where I see him landing in terms of his skill level and what would be available to him.
Fascinating. All right. Was it the right move to leave?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what his options were. Maybe.
I guess we'll come back and judge it afterwards. That'll be the question for everyone. Do you feel like, where do you think how did this all transpire? Did it have to end up like this here for Cloud9, both with Berserker leaving and Jojo moving on? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, please give us a like and subscribe to the Last Free Nation channel, as well as all of our channels for your content needs. They're doing foreplay right now. I think they're
nice.
They did rom-coms. Did the guys? I forgot what they're on now. Jurassic Park. They did Jurassic Park. That's what it was. I remember now. It's
a great rom-com.
Yeah, they moved on from rom-coms. My bad. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So that was Cloud9 and some of the drama there. Cloud9 fans, are you sad? Let us know in the comments below. All right, time to remind you guys about one of our other great partners here over at Power Spike. And it's the partner that's providing you all the opportunity to get the Beard and Balls bundle. Here we go. Fellas, do you want your grooming routine to be a one-and-done deal? Well, the days of using the same trimmer for your face and your private parts are over. We know you did that. Thanks to our friends over at Manscaped, they've come up with the ultimate package to keep your hairs trimmed from 12 to 6. Because that's, if you look at a clock. Anyways, introducing the Beard and Balls bundle featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger, a trimmer for your moneymaker and another one for the boys downstairs, because your moneymaker is this one. Get 20% off free shipping with the code POWERSPIKE. Yeah, that's right. The code is POWERSPIKE. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code POWERSPIKE at manscaped.com. Obviously, I've used it before. It was brilliant and great and very easy, kept me safe. There are times where you get on there and it's just dangerous, but I felt in great company with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, my balls' new best friend. That is true. Say goodbye to endless passes. This trimmer gets it right the first time, cutting through the bushiest of bushes. Not here, but, if you have it. Effortlessly while being gentle on your skin and delicate places, featuring a titanium-coated stainless steel T-blade with 20 length options. You can achieve any style you want with the Beard Hedger. Whether you're going for a neat stubble or a full-on lumberjack look, this trimmer has you covered. So one more time, they're waterproofed, they reduce nicks, and they reduce risk of ingrown hair and grooming accidents. Thanks to our friends over at Manscaped. Get 20% off, free shipping with the code POWERSPIKE at manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com. Thanks to our friends over at Manscaped. Again, products that you guys can use and tested by us here as well. All right, next up, keeping it in NA. We went through one. We went through the second. One more team to go through, and it's because he's the last player on Dom's top players list at Worlds. I guess they're not top players list. It's Ayla and 100 Thieves. Or do you go with the guys that Dom also put in his player list with a bunch of long elongated vowels? Super and Mad Lions MDK. Who you keeping? Who you kicking? Who's getting further in the tournament? 100 Thieves or the Mad Lions? Let's take a look. All right. Both these teams have pretty floor level expectations for major region teams. You could even venture out that the PCS teams have a better chance. Heavy, maybe, has a better chance of going further in the tournament, but we'll just keep it with these two squads. Who you keeping? Who you kicking, Dom, here between 100 Thieves and Mad Lions Koi?
You're going to make me say it.
I'm gonna make you say it. Come on, say it. Everyone at home wants you to say it.
Oh,
You want Sniper? Or do you want Merwin, baby?
Oh, I'm kicking 100 Thieves and I'm keeping Mad Lions. Are you happy? I'm keeping the Mad Lions. They're just the better team.
Mad Lions koi. There you go. There it is, Spanish fans.
Let's fucking go. Yeah.
You mean,
is that racist? I can't even tell.
Bro, I was scared.
Yeah, I was scared.
Man, dGon is ridiculous.
Korean, bro. Ridiculous. All right.
Okay. I couldn't tell. I thought it might be racist. Like, I'm are we getting canceled? Like,
no, we're not getting canceled. We're just leaning into the fan base that wanted. They love this moment right now. Dom, can you explain a little bit more why you're keeping Mad Lions koi over 100 Thieves?
I mean, I think that the way that they play the game is probably going to be pretty good versus other play-in teams, because they pretty much only play 2 lanes, and I think that only playing 2 lanes it's like BDS, right? It's good when you're playing against teams that have no macro, because then you're just like kind of running over like the map, and it's like, what the fuck? What do we do against them? And then when you actually realize that an enemy team is doing this, you just don't die on the 2 lanes, and you just get 1 free lane of farm for free. So I think that this is something that will be good in play-ins. I think 100 Thieves, the way they win is like kind of random in my mind. Like when I try to think of 100 Thieves and I try to think of like their gameplay, I'm like, okay, Rivera is pretty solid. They're pretty decent at fighting. They have good skirmishing, relatively good mechanics on like certain players. Like Quid is really good mechanically, but they don't really have much of a game plan, and they don't play consistent League of Legends. So I'm actually very scared about how they will play versus other play-in teams, because I could see them like throwing some games to teams that are worse than them. Like, let's say they get a draft where they get outscaled. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to win those games versus play-in teams, or if, you know, the fucking soft Bangkoks and Evie is just going to take them out.
Oof. The worst timeline. Evie, he is inevitable. All right, what do you make of this, Yamato? Both Dom's choice, and then what is your choice between this keeper kick?
Bro, the crazy thing about both of these teams is like they qualify to the World Championship in the goofiest way possible. You know, it's like both like the other major regions, right? It's like regional gauntlets, 5 games, brutal. You know, it's like super close, neck and neck. It's like feels very bad that Mad Lions never got to play against BDS, right? That feels like shit. You know, it's like they beat G2 to qualify. We didn't get to see like the battle between the teams that should be like similarly rated, because they took the opportunity of beating G2 when G2 gave it to them, right? And 100 Thieves, you know, they were this close to losing to Dignitas. Like they 3-0 Dignitas, and then that game 5, like Dignitas is hitting Nash. They have a smolder that are fully stacked. The game looks completely GG. And then somehow Lilia hits a swirling seed on 3 people. Like Jensen was a bit too sleepy, took a nap with his fucking, and then his Ivan doesn't even press Mikhails. He doesn't use it, doesn't cleanse. And it's just the goofiest fight you've ever seen. Disturbing levels. And all of a sudden 100 Thieves make it. And then they play against C9. I'm thinking, no way in hell. C9 on their worst day, they're not going to beat them. And all of a sudden we get this upset win because C9, I don't know, they've just internally collapsed at such a level that is immeasurable. So to add this information out to round off, like in my mind, I think 100 Thieves, you know, you had your journey, you have fun, practice against the teams. It's cool and all. I'm keeping Mad Lions just because of one detail. What I love the most about Mad Lions is I think that they have the confidence to beat teams that are better than them if they give the opportunity to do so. And I think that type of energy is super important. And I think Mad Lions, sometimes they remind me of the 2018 Vitality boys. You know, it's like they are unique in their own way. I think they are, the Elioya and Alvaro, how they played the early game together, I think is very unique. Midwin in his champion pool is also nice. I think that they are awkward enough that maybe, just maybe, you know, if a team like underperforms, like some of these inconsistent teams above them, then maybe they can take a game or 2. And I think that's interesting, you know? They're definitely flawed in many, many ways. Like, I don't believe in Frescawi too much. Like, I think that Individually, they are not super strong. It's more about the fact that they seem to all be bought into the same idea, and they carry a confidence that I think is super good to have as an underdog, because they beat G2. This is something that other teams didn't manage to do when G2 was on the damn ropes. BDS didn't do it. Fnatic didn't do it. Sure, Fnatic did it in the best of 5 that mattered less, but then they got 3-0'd in the finals, and they got smacked around, right, in the regionals as well. So I think that aspect matters to me, and I think that's what makes Mad Lions just a little bit more interesting to me than 100 Thieves.
Damn. All right. It's
I will say,
I
will say, my confidence on Mad Lions is not like super high, because also if you think about how Mad Lions did qualify, they do pretty well when they play against good teams. They actually played pretty poorly when they played against bad teams throughout all of summer, and even throughout spring. So it's like when they're playing versus a team where they are the favorites and they actually feel pressure, it's like, oh, we gotta be solid. We gotta play our own game. When they have to play like that, are they going to be able to exude the same confidence? Is it like they just have good confidence from the underdog position, or can they actually beat a play-in team when they're supposed to beat them, when everyone has expectations of them?
That's true. I mean, their first round matchup is against Viking Esports, so the second seed from Vietnam, as everything's ran by Gigabyte or GAM Esports. Shogun, the AD carry, and Kati, the mid laner. They've got some international experience there. On the opposite side, 100 Thieves playing Rainbow Seven, and some familiar names there. Maybe one like Summit, and then Audi. He's been there. Lions and CEO, they've been there as well. And then they've got a mid lane. Keen? No, it's Kine. Korean mid laner there for Movistar Rainbow Seven. So maybe a future look at an America's battle for that slot. Both these guys decided to take Mad Lions Koi here. Who are... Give me the must-watch matchup here. If you're watching their performance, I know they're not playing each other, but if you're watching their performance, is going to be key to their success. Who is the player that needs to step up? Like, yeah, I'm going to phrase it that way.
On Mad or 100 Thieves, you mean? Or
Both.
like in general? Oh, on both? I feel like when it comes to Mad, it's just that their team identity is so ingrained in everybody. So I'm just curious to see what kind of improvements they can make. But at the same time, they've had this issue the whole year where they just don't know how to transfer pressure, and they're just playing a kill-heavy game. But if when they're playing at their best, I think it just comes down to Elioya and Alvaro just playing together well, and then Midwin just being a little southpaw, willing to do like a Kimaro roll and just break the enemy's knee, in a weird and awkward way. And he needs to get awkward and freaky over at the 100 Thieves. I would have to say, like, River started playing better in playoffs. I think that was a very important aspect for them. And then I think Quid is the type of player that I don't think he's super good, but I think that he's willing to step outside of what other people find comfortable to play. And I like that he's willing to, pick the champion that he believes he can carry the game with. And it seems like he can position himself to do that. And I think that's a very, very good characteristic, because even some of the best players, sometimes in best of fives, lack that ability to pull shit out of like a rabbit's hat.
Yeah, for me, on 100 Thieves, I would say Sniper is the person that actually needs to step up. Like, he has to play well. He's obviously the youngest player. Like, he's the most rookie you could get, right? He's the biggest rookie you could ever find. So it's not the end of the world if he does it, if he just like has a bad first international or whatever. But he's gonna have to be consistent. He can't have these like big throws. He can't have these horrible TPs that single-handedly lose you games. If he has this internationally, the team will just lose. At least when they start playing against like decent level competition. On the side of Mad Lions, I kind of agree with what Yamato said. It's not really about anyone stepping up. I mean, the person that I've been consistently looking at to step up has been Frescowie, and I feel like he's actually done that decently throughout the year. But for some reason, I don't know, I can't shake it. There's like some of the ways that he lanes, some of the mistakes he makes. It's very hard for me to believe in Frescowie as a player, like to really believe that he's good, even though like he's had good moments and he's been consistent at times. It's just very hard for me to really believe in it when I consider him next to other rookie players, like somebody like Vladi, for example, it's just I feel like in my soul that Vladi is a better player, even if Raskawi might be just like looking better right now or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see if Friscawi Sniper will be able to step up throughout the tournament, and we'll see who gets further. Who you guys keeping or kicking at home? Let us know in the comments below between 100 Thieves and Mad Lions Koi, your major region third seed teams from NA and EU. Okay. Next up, it is our friends. One more read, two more reads, but this one is from our friends with now just a presence that you can smell from a mile away. That's right. It's our friends over at Mando. Now, you've heard us talk about the Mando whole body department before here on our show because, you know, the famous word that Yamato brought to the table here and has now just iconized here on the show. I just turned it into a verb. It's grundle, and we hate that thing. Don't we hate grundle, Yamato?
Well, you're blaming me for bringing up the grundle? That shit wasn't in my vocabulary, bro.
Yeah, but
you have to explain it.
But we
the bridge between everything that is like a man's sanctity. Carry on, dGon.
I mean, look, how do we hate grundle? Like grundle, it just is what it is. You can't hate grundle. It's just you hate grundle odor. That's what you hate. You hate when your grundle is getting grimy. You hate the grimy grundle.
That's right. Grimy grundle sucks, but you can get it under control with our friends over at Mando. They've got just a plethora of different items for you to try for your whole body. For your whole body, it has been proven, it has been created by a doctor who saw how awful BO can be misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's American made and it's powerful enough for the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere, allowing you to put Mando on the family jewels or wherever without any worry because Mando is aluminum free, baking soda free, cruelty free, dye free, and vegan free. And it's proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. That's right.
Vegan free.
Vegan free.
It's not vegan free. It's just sorry. It's not vegan free. It's vegan. It's not vegan free.
Jesus.
My bad.
I hope it's vegan free.
Put some meat in there.
It's not vegan free. It is vegan. There's no, it's vegan. My bad.
Okay.
Now, 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor was a 5 out of 10. But with Mando, the grundle odor level was a 0 out of 10. Again, it is a whole body deodorant. It makes things seriously safe to use anywhere on your body, from pits to packages, belly buttons and butt cracks, stinky crevices, stomach folds, and yes, feet. And they've got a plethora of different scents for you to try, like bourbon leather, cloverwoods, Mount Fuji, which is this one right here. It's the one in my room, in my bathroom. Mount Fuji and Pro Sport. Bam. And then if you don't like scents, there's also unscented for multiple different items that they have, like the deodorant stick, the deodorant cream tube, the body wash, the cleansing bar, and deodorant wipes as well for pits, packages, feet, and beyond. Great for having on the go or while traveling. And it's, of course, doctor developed. So if you're ready to take control over some of the smells that you have while you're on the road, look no further than Mando and Mando's starter pack, which is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes with free shipping. And we've got a discount code to help you stay hooked on the best smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get 5% off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off of your starter pack. So use the code SPIKE at shopmando.com. That is shopmando.com with the code SPIKE to get $5 off a starter pack with the exclusive code and free shipping. Thanks to our friends over at Mando for powering Power Spike. Okay. Gosh, love Mando, man. It's so great. And grundle. saving. All right. Next up, time for a little bit more of the future telling. And I guess next year we would also consider this LCS, even though LCS is dead. We're keeping it in the Americas because we've got future telling Dom here. nostraDOMus is making a return right now. And that's right. He will be talking about an Americas region team possibly making the event. Let's take a look. nostraDOMus. Take it away, Mr. Damus.
It set me up.
All right. nostraDOMus. Great future telling, future seeing nostraDOMus with a great smelling grundle, I'm sure.
Yep, Mount Fuji. My grundle smells like Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
I can vouch. I was just there. Sorry.
Yep.
Yes.
In Mount Fuji or my grundle, or both.
Both.
I guess it's the same place now. Okay.
It is the same place now.
Okay.
Will the team from Brazil make it to the main event? That's right. Pain Gaming, PNG. Will they make it to the main event and out of the way with their first test being PSG, with the roster, with a couple, multiple guys that have made it from Brazil to international events? And 2 Koreans.
Okay, so I have watched a lot of Brazil this year. I've watched a decent amount of Brazil. I watched, I think, every series besides for one that Payne ended up playing. And I could say this from an unbiased perspective. There is 0% chance they beat PSG. Like, quite literally 0% chance. Like, they actually cannot beat PSG. From there, we could see, like, maybe I could see them eking out like the second seed. Maybe they could beat the Vietnamese team. I think that them losing to the Vietnamese team was a underperformance at MSI. Like, I do think that they choked that, where they probably should have been able to win that match. That being said, there's still the same problems that have lingered in Brazil. There's still issues when it comes to how they play around objectives. Specifically, Baron is just the killer of Brazil, bro. When Baron spawns, everyone in Brazil just loses their mind. Like, it's just crazy what ends up happening. That being said, the early games are pretty good. So, like, I could see them getting some leads on PSG. Maybe it looks like they're gonna win, but they won't win. I promise you, they will not win. They'll look like they can win maybe in one of the games, maybe 2, but they won't win. They'll end up losing for sure. Just is what it is. The Baron spawn is, if they somehow find a way to disable Baron, then Brazil is fucking cooking, bro. Then Brazil is up there, bro. Maybe they make a run, but with Baron still being in the game, as far as I know, 14-18, Baron is still in the game, so I think they probably will fail.
All right, Mount Fuji climber, what did you make of our future telling here by nostraDOMus?
Honestly, I think I can summarize it in a comment that I got the other day on one of my videos, where someone from Brazil said, "Yamato, Brazil will shock you. We will disappoint you beyond belief, or we will cause a crazy upset. But I guarantee, we will shock you." I mean, like, bro, when I think back some of the moments of the Brazil teams in international,
the teleport. Who remembers the teleport? You remember the teleport?
Is that the ergot move?
Yeah,
is that the ergot
that's what
move?
they call it. So his name is Tay. His name is Tay, the player, and he was playing Urgot, and he just randomly TP'd on himself in the middle of the lane when he had a free kill top lane. And this move has been named in Brazil as the teleport for all of eternity. And now he's on like a pretty bottom-ass team, and he's kind of inting. But, you know, hey, at least he has a move named after him. How many people can say that?
And I can add, I have lost against Brazil. My win ratio against Brazil is 0. I'm 0-1. I lost against Brazil, the Fnatic boys. I had to be in the press area while every motherfucking caster in the room takes a picture with that 80 carry with his fucking bicep written bot cap. Everyone wrote the same thing. I just had to stand there and wait for my interview. Pissed out of my mind. I just have to watch him do that shit, playing MF Amumu, being proud of it. So I am coming from a position of defeat. So I have to say, Brazil are just, they are the GOATs that kind of make it this time.
Okay.
Yes, we're just lying. So we're just lying on our show now. Perfect.
Yeah. I'm just lying though.
Let's just
They have
lie
a
in order
problem?
to gain Brazilian fan base. Look, the thing that I like about Brazilian fan base is that as long as you're just being honest about the game, they don't come after you the same way other fan bases do. Like if you start being like Brazil is a shithole country, if you say this type of shit, then you're gonna get then the Vampettas are coming. You are going to see you will see some big Brazilian dick that day. I guarantee it. But as long as you're like, hey, like the team is not playing well, these are the problems, they don't come after you. They don't make you stare at the Vampetta. So it is what it is. I can respect that about them.
Stare at it.
Yeah, they make you stare at that shit, bro. They bait you into the Vampetta. The thing is, like, Vampetta is I don't know about the Vampetta because normally, like the Twitter porn, they block it most of the time, right? Like if somebody's just posting dicks, it'll be in that. But somehow, for some reason, I don't know if they have a deal with Elon Musk or so. Actually, wait, isn't Twitter banned in Brazil? Like, can't I just say whatever the fuck I want now? Well, I mean, whatever. I have the same opinion anyway. I don't have anything spicy to say, but I will say that last time there was the deal with the Americas merging, I was looking at some LS tweets, saw some Vampettas under the LS tweets, bro. They were fucking going off.
Is that what Elon is afraid of? Is that why, like, Elon is just afraid of the pettas? That's why he made a move. Okay.
I guess so. Fucking Elon.
I think it was more of the government, but yeah, we'll blame Elon. Pain Gaming has a couple of Koreans that have been there that have been in the Brazilian scene for quite some time. Wiser in the top lane. Previously played on Sandbox, then moved over to Kaboom, and now has been on Pain Gaming for 3 years. Kuri, new addition at the support role, was a T1 trainee way back in the day in 2018, and then played on Flamenco, and now has moved on over to Pain Gaming.
He's not very good. I would say Curry's not very good. Wiser kind of reminds me of like Summit in a way, where he lanes in top lane better than most other top laners, like in the region. But when it comes to like making decisions, like team play, it feels like he lacks some ability to team fight in a way. Curry, I think, he just looks like a CB LOL player. Like he just looks very Brazilian to me. There's like no Korean left in him, I would say.
Bro, you know what I love? It's always the T1 trainee, bro. I feel like it's like a Harvard diploma.
It is.
You know? It's like, that's like, bro, this guy was a T1 trainee. We have to sign it, bro.
Gotta give him a drop.
The thing is, like, the thing that people don't understand is like there was a period where everyone was a T1 trainee. Like if you were in Korea, you were a T1 trainee. They had the most trainees known to man at a period, for a period of time. So most people have went through T1 at some point, you know?
Yeah. Just throwing that out there for our friends. Then I'm gonna butcher the names I forgot, other than Titan, because everyone says I look like a mixture of Titan and someone else. But Karaoke and Din
Karaoke.
Karaoke.
Dinketo. I say Dinketo, and it's karaoke. Is what people
karaoke. Say. That's right. It's karaoke. All right. Karaoke and Dinketo, and then Titan. Those three have all had international experience. Where Brazil won a game, they did not finish last. All of them have at least one international experience, making it past the first round. So still hope here for Pain Gaming. YouTube isn't banned, so our friends over in Brazil, let us know in the comments below whether you think this team can make it on through, especially given the fact that they have to play against PSG first and have a Vietnamese team who is generally a team that does the upsetting in their bracket, with Vietnam being both teams being in play-ins this year. Let us know in the comments below if you think this future telling is correct by the one and only nostraDOMus. Okay, there we go. I think we hit all the Americas, and now we are done with that. One more read for our homies at home, and it's a reminder about our friends over at Factor that probably did the trick there for Yamato as he went and visited. The holidays are right around the corner, and we know that you guys want to get fit as you brag to your family members and friends that you all gather with. Get those fitness goals locked on in time thanks to our friends over at Factor with the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factory's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to eat nutritious, great tasting meals. Dom, did Yamato get some of those meals? Did he at least try one of those meals?
He did. He got. I had him have. I think those. What I had. You have two, right? You had two different Factor meals when you were here.
Yeah, I had the noodles with the bolognese, I believe, and the chicken. Ooh, the chicken.
Yeah, so it was the fusilli ragu that they have. That's like a pork ragu with a. It's just a pork meat sauce with marinara and noodles. It's solid. I get it every single week. And yeah, now Yamato can actually speak to the quality because I was hyping him up on it before he was here.
Yamato, how was it?
So the day I arrived so late because of delays, and I was starving. I was so starving, and I just had Wendy's at the airport in Minneapolis, and then I flew in, and in the Wendy's there was a piece of plastic that almost killed me. It is what it is. I posted a picture of it. Rachel mentioned, Rachel mentioned, it's like, this is America. We don't have microplastic. We have macroplastic. But nevertheless, I went and I was very hungry. I was dumb. I'm very hungry. I know it's late. He's like, yo, open the fridge. Look what we got, man. Just water and Factor meals, and that's all you need. Yep. That's all you need in the fridge, bro. That's all you need. Cooking overrated, takes time. You need to plan your recipe. You need to plan everything. You need to weigh everything because you want to have the right macros and all that jazz. And then boom, here's a nice chicken with beans, microwave 2 minutes, boom. It tastes like someone just made it. Easy peasy, eat it up, throw it in the trash. Just no work at all. God bless. I loved it. Very, very nice. 10 out of 10 for me, bro. And now I'm here again. I said, Dom just did everything to make me jealous of Texas, to make me want to move out of Germany. This was his whole plan. He was so nice to me that it's borderline demonic. That's what it is.
I was trying to ruin his life. I just wanted him to feel bad about his life when he got back. That was the whole point. So.
And that's how much your friends will love your Factor. And you'll love Factor too. With 35 different meals and 60 add-ons to choose from for every week, you'll be able to crush your wellness goals every month with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients you can trust. So head on over to factormeals.com/PowerSpike50 and use the code PowerSpike50 to get, yeah, that's right, 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That is PowerSpike50 at factormeals.com/PowerSpike50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Thanks to our friends for making Yamato a believer. Our friends over at Factor. Thank you. All right. That last one, y'all. Time for the last segment of the show. It's the Galaxy Brain Club. As still got to stick with play-ins. Group stages, or a Swiss stage is right around the corner, but we've got these play-in teams here. So which ones do you think are ideal teams to make it into the Swiss? And can any of these teams have a deep run in the Swiss stage, given the format of how Swiss is and all that jazz? Which ones are the ideal teams to make it on through? It's our Galaxy Brain Club. Okie dokie. Here are the squads as we know and love, all 8 of them. Mad Lions, 100 Thieves, PSG Talon, GAM Esports, the SoftBank Hawks, and Evie. God, he's inevitable, other than when he's in Europe. Vikings Esports from Vietnam, Movistar Rainbow 7, and, of course, Pain Gaming from Brazil. Who are the ideal teams to make it on through?
Well, on my end, I am such a gameplay elitist, so I just want the teams that prove to me that they're the best to go through. Bro, I feel no attachment to any of these teams. I just want the team, like, ideally for me, like, I get shown something I don't know because I didn't cover VCS. I watched like two best of fives of the SoftBank Hawks and PSG. So I have very limited information there. I hope that I'm shocked and surprised, because with what I do know, I think that there is no deep running happening at all. I think that whatever team makes it out, especially with how the rounds work, unless they face each other, I think they are underdog against anybody else in the tournament. It's like, what are the teams that are just above them? It's like FlyQuest, Fnatic. I don't see anyone kind of making a dent. The main question for me, right, is like PSG. They got 3-0 by G2. It is what it is. But they were competitive against Bilibili. I personally don't put too much stock into that, because Bilibili threw like a 10k gold lead, and it seemed like Bilibili was kind of goofing off, right? And people are going to hate me for saying that, yo, you're so LPL biased. Fuck you. I think that series went 3-2. Game 5, Bilibili had full control in my mind. And I think that PSG, I think that they have a recipe to success. I think Junji is a solid player. I think that Maple supports that playstyle well. I'm not too excited about their bot lane. I think Ozzy is solid, but I don't think they're going to have like a splash on impact of this tournament. And then I would just only reference back to like the Mad Lions points that it would be fun to see them like actually, punish one of these goofy LPL teams that can be really good and can be really bad. But even that, I think even at their lowest point, I think mechanically these teams are just good enough to make it happen. But there's usually like one LPL team that just fucking shocks the world with how bad they could be. So maybe there's an opportunity there. But if anyone makes it out of Swiss, bro, I'm shaving my head, I'm shaving my eyebrows, I'm doing something nuts, because I don't think it's gonna happen, bro.
All right. Thank you for leading us off there, Yamato, with all the shaving. Thanks to our friends over at Manscaped. What do you think here?
So for me, the only thing I care about is that 100 Thieves doesn't lose in the play-ins. Like, I think they definitely could, but I do feel like I don't want to be secondhand embarrassed from watching 100 Thieves run it down. So I care about that. Mad Lions, I would love to see Mad Lions lose. Like that's where I have my attachment. If Mad Lions lose in play-ins, oh my god, the montage that I will drop, the Mad Lions montage I will drop will be legendary. And I want to see, I think it will be really interesting to see if Mad Lions can improve their year-long 42% win rate in this play-in stage. I think that maybe if they do well, maybe they could get up to like 45, maybe. I mean, they have a lot of games played, so it's going to be hard to do a lot of damage. Maybe they can move up to 45%. I think that could be pretty hype, because I think that would probably be the first team that would have ever made the group stage or the Swiss stage with a year-long 45% win rate. I think that would be really fucking insane. That would be making history, and I'd be proud of them over there. And I will say this: if Mad Lions ends up making it, if any of these teams end up making it out of Swiss, I will bet Yamato's hair as well. I bet Yamato can go bald. So yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Double the hair. He'll shave his head twice.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one, right? You've got clear favorites with PSG, Mad Lions, and 100 Thieves based off of the region that they come from, the investment that they come from. That means one slot from, I guess, the B side of the bracket, I would say. A side is Mad Lions, Vikings, PSG, and Pain. B side being GAM, the Hawks, 100 Thieves, and R7. Maybe you could say GAM because they are it's every year, let's trot out Levi and the boys and figure out who's going to carry on this team. But it's not the same team, and it just feels like, I don't know, if any of these major teams lose, all of a sudden it gets really, really hard. I feel like it gets really hard, especially if they lose in the opening round. Who's the most vulnerable for a loss in the opening round?
You go first.
Honestly, I just, like, we're looking at 100 Thieves and Mad Lions, you're meaning, right, dGon?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Because we already nostraDOMus Pain Gaming.
Because it's like, in my mind, like, I feel I want to be very careful about talking about the VCS, because I didn't watch any Viking esports, It's like, bro, I don't know anything about Viking esports. It's like, yo, SOFM is coaching them. Is the jungle gonna play Rengar with tank items and root people? Like, I don't know what's coming. Whenever I mention them, I say I don't know anything about them. Some VCS fans, they come out, there's like, they come in and say, Yamato, they're actually good, bro. you shouldn't sleep on them. And the thing is, I'll sleep on them as long as they don't wake me up, you know, because they haven't woken me up in a long time. It's like they did an interesting one, right? Like qualifying to the main event, you know, and that's like, okay, you know, and then what did they beat? Team Liquid? Was that what the GAN beat last year?
It was TL.
They beat Liquid. It's like, that's like a little alarm clock, but I'm still snoozing. The main thing for me is like VCS, like the region has such a big player base, so there seems like there's an opportunity to maybe in the future be effective, but a lot of things have plagued that region, and I just don't have the time or the resources to pay attention. So I'm assuming that Rainbow Seven should be worse than the VCS just because of regional rankings. So I guess if I have to pick one, maybe Mad, because they can get dirty, you know. It's like they qualified to playoffs beating Rogue twice. So they lost games against shitty teams in Europe, so maybe it can happen.
Dom?
True. I mean, I don't know. I think 100 Thieves is a worse team, but if you were to say who's like most likely to have like a disgusting upset loss, I think it would be Mad Lions, because I don't know if they have like the players that are going to like get them over the line, because I think a lot of the times when shit gets tough and you need to beat these bad teams, a lot of times the games become slow. And you need your AD carry or your mid laner to just fucking be stable or just have a pop-off performance. And I feel like Mad Lions is a team that they like win together and they lose together. And if their plan falls apart, they just start running it down as a unit like super hard. I think that's a huge problem. Also, I think Mad Lions is I don't know if they're more prone to throwing than 100 Thieves, but it feels like Mad Lions aggressively throws games. Where like 100 Thieves, they'll like overchase, they'll do some stupid shit, but like Mad Lions, they'll just like walk into your jungle with 2 people and just die. And the whole game will just be lost. And they'll just put their fucking foot down and be like, we are determined to fucking win and lose this game on our terms, which is scary when you're playing versus bad teams. I feel like they've made the same mistakes consistently around contesting vision in opposing jungle when they're playing on their lanes throughout the entire year. And you would think that when you're only playing on 2 lanes, there's only one jungle to contest. There's only one part where you need to control and put vision, but somehow they still always fuck it up. So I'll say Mad Lions is more likely to have like the egregious loss, but I do think they are better than 100 Thieves in general.
Like a better team. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Again, their bracket is Mad Lions bracket is a little bit harder and a little bit more stacked, and we'll see how they do there against Vikings Esports. I guess the other question that we can glean from this is the patch, right? First time we're seeing 14-18 here at Worlds. This led to some nerfs to Azir, some buffs in the jungle. Jinx also getting a buff. 80 carries trying to get removed from the mid lane. When you have something like plans here, Yamato, how much do you take away from it, from your team's read on the meta when you watch the play-ins teams play first?
I think always what we see like each and every year is that there's like a lot of champions that get a lot of hype due to solo queue and due to practice. And I think that we always, like, teams always miss the mark in terms of how the translation will be. I think the odds are we're going to see a bunch of teams be the ones to play like the Syndra and maybe play the Javan too. And I think over time, the teams that are going to answer with like Orianna and Wukong, the champions that might be like weaker early, but over time are going to win games. I think that's going to like show itself. I think in the end, it's like, especially when you have dirtier games, I think that it's important to recognize that scaling is king. When all the onus is on the team to pressure you and to win out the game quickly, I think that requires a very high level of precision and comes with risk. And I think striking the balance there is where we will see like a development. Because right now, as I'm watching Champions Queue, like the only thing that really stands out as like very, very OP in my mind is like Yone as a champion, because that opens up the pool for jungle, that opens up Ziggs. But when Yone is out, all of a sudden mid lane pool is very open again. We see like Ahri, we see Syndra, we see Orianna, Azir, Talia. It's just Yone that kind of holds on to that identity of like that AD mid because of the fleet buffs and people like buying Stridebreaker, like the PZ Zhang builds with the Stridebreaker just showing up on the brothers, right? So in my mind, I think just scaling will be king, and I think we'll see the champions that everybody hypes up just kind of falter over time because people are going to be deluded due to scrim practice and solo queue.
Oh yeah. Aurora will be enabled. That's right. It'll be enabled with the kernel break issue being fixed. So hopefully they'll be able to get that in there. We'll get to see Aurora. John, what do you think is going to be the most presence champion?
Highest presence champion. I was torn when this question was asked on on my streams and stuff. Like, part of me thinks it will just end up being like one of the tank OP junglers. Like, it'll be like Ivern or some bullshit like this, or Maokai, even after the Maokai nerfs. But in terms of like picks that I expect to see a lot of, I think Skarner is really good in the jungle right now. I think Skarner and Jarvan are the two picks that I've been seeing a lot of that I actually think are really good. And if you consider that we're most likely going to have more APs in the mid lane, that means that a lot of the junglers that could come back would be like Viego, Jarvan, Xin Zhao, like, got buffed, right? So that will probably end up coming back. Lee Sin. So we end up getting a whole different meta just based off a couple champions being in the meta. And obviously, if it's AP mids, then you go back to 80 junglers. And if people are picking 80 junglers, let's say people are picking Jarvan again, maybe then Poppy comes back in the jungle because Poppy has always been a counter to Jarvan. So you have to think about like what the meta will be based off mid, because things like Syndra, Ivern are people don't really want to play. So maybe Ivern won't be high presence if like we end up in a Ahri, Syndra, like Orianna, Azir, like this type of meta. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of different things that could end up being pulled up. Like Volibear, for example, is something that I could see being played if Xin gets higher prio, if people are like blinding Jarvan and Xin, maybe we get things like Volibear that counter, maybe we could get something like Rek'Sai that is a counter to those types of picks. So there's a lot of like opportunity. I think it really just depends on like which lanes the game ends up being played around and what meta that settles on, and then everything else will kind of just fall into line based off that.
I like that breakdown there, just because it feels like we've talked about these teams enough here in the play-ins. We made a bunch of different segments about it. The deep cut on Vietnam is not there, and they always just surprise. And it is always very fun to see him do it. There is, from a storyline perspective, would be interesting to see Levi against 100 Thieves, the team that originally picked him up and gave him the opportunity on Academy, and it never really quite panned out. Vietnam's best player and the whole reason why Gigabyte Marines and GAM Esports became a thing as he came on over. Didn't work out for him. That would be a very, very unique situation if that came up. As all I remember is that he was crying at the last VCS. His parents were there, and kind of like Maple, who has announced this is his last season. It kind of feels like we're getting Levi over at that point as well. And you just think about a lot of these historic names that have been around for a long time, kind of seeing the same thing that we heard from Deft as well at the end of this season. He has military duty that he was somewhat alluding to, and it seems pretty likely that he's going to do. And so for this year's Worlds, it feels like we're at that point where this might be the last dance for some of these guys, and it's just an opportunity for us to take it all in. So from a gameplay perspective, got you covered. We'll sit back and enjoy it, and the storylines that unfolds, and cult heroes that pop on up. Maybe we just see some summit resurgence. That would be a lot of fun as well. But yeah, there it is, the play-in stage here from your boys at Power Spike. Okay. If you have any other questions about the play-in stage or things that you want us to cover that we didn't, let us know in the comments below, and we will do so as we have your coverage all tournament long. We're just a couple days away from the track dropping for Worlds by Linkin Park. What did you make of the news? Did you ruin it for yourself and already listen to the song, or are you waiting for the drop? I think it drops tomorrow in like 23 hours.
I don't spoil myself, bro.
Discipline.
I am not a World's anthem enjoyer, just in general.
No,
so I have no take. Like, there's like all the ones that people are like, Rise, it's so epic. Like, he kept on saying Rise. Like, I don't know. I just felt nothing when I hear this type of music. I just don't like. I don't know. I don't feel anything when I watch.
You just went to Worlds at the wrong time, bro. That's the one, bro. Bro, when you qualify to the World Championship and Rise is like the theme, bro, you feel different, bro. Like 2018 Vitality, bro, Rise is the theme. Bro, it's crazy, bro. It's like that really, your testosterone just, you know, is just expansion, bro. I'm telling you.
I don't know, bro. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of like, I don't know, for that type of stuff, it's like the musical performances too. I just don't feel anything when I listen to it. I don't know why.
I know we've talked about the musical performances. I know we've had that conversation before. I didn't know you didn't like the theme or like the.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just like I just don't care at all. Like I literally just, I don't know why. I just don't give it any fucks.
Did you watch Arcane?
Yeah.
Oh, I was worried you didn't watch Arcane. What do you think about Arcane? There's a test though.
I thought it was like pretty good. Like I thought it was like it was.
All right, Yamato, he gets to keep co-streaming, baby. That was the test.
I don't know. I didn't like it as much as other people. I didn't dislike it either. I thought it was like pretty good. That's what I would say.
Okay.
All right. Dom,
how about the trailers? The solo queue trailers?
I like the one. What was it? The one with Riven, Awaken.
Oh yeah.
I think that was like the best one.
Do you get a pump?
No. Nothing.
Man, you should have told me this before I came to Texas, but I would have. Nah, I'm kidding. Fucking hell, dumb. This is the coolest shit ever, dudes. Come and live a little, man.
I don't know why I don't like it. I don't know. I wish I liked it. I think everyone else likes it.
What was your favorite one? Not, and again, we know that your favorite one might be like a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10.
I literally can't even remember them.
No
I know
way.
Legends. I know there's like what was the one with Zed? Ignite?
Oh,
right, that's one. There's Legends Never Die.
Legends
Rise.
Never Die. There's Warriors.
I literally don't even remember. What was the one last year?
Phoenix.
That was last year?
Last year was
Gods.
Yeah.
Oh.
Last year was Gods with New Jeans.
That one,
yeah.
I really didn't like that.
Lil Nas X.
No,
Star Walking.
Star Walking. That was the theme?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ever say it's over. Anytime you watch a bro game, are there bros on the chat? We got it. What? Yeah, Warriors before that.
I think I'm just too fucking old, bro.
Takeover was hype as fuck. We're taking over.
Yep. Yeah.
But the history, shit.
All right.
That's crazy talk, bro.
I just like AI Sosa, bro. I like love Sosa, AI Sosa.
Game 5 Sosa. Yes. We know. Yep. We know. All right, y'all. That does it for our episode. Our pre-play-ins episode here for Power Spike. If there's more things you want us to cover, make sure to let us know in the comments below. While you're there, please subscribe. Thanks to all the partners that make the episode happen and possible. Use the codes to make your life better with Turtle Beach, Manscaped, Mando, and of course Factor. Dom will be co-streaming everything. Yamato will be co-streaming everything. You can catch them on their respective co-streams. Open both tabs and help them both on out. I will be doing coverage here from the LFN side, and I probably won't be going to London, but we'll have you covered here over at LFN. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time for more Power Spike action. See ya.